Today's question: is there a story behind KoLe's logo? Well, yes, there is, because I designed it and I look up to the Ritz-Carlton. What? See you after the opening. You are watching or listening to an episode of Off the Script. I'm Satoko, a bespoke artisanal experience coordinator, the founder of KoLe SHIKOKU Japan, and the host of this show. In this series, I will answer one question about KoLe SHIKOKU Japan per episode without a word-to-word script. This program is not ordinary Q&A because it's also my journey to get used to speaking in my second language to the general public without a word-to-word script. Will I ever get comfortable? Now, it's time to go off script. Welcome to episode 2 of Off the Script. In this episode, I'll share how the KoLe's logo was made. That will include my background a little bit before KoLe SHIKOKU Japan, about the motif, and the style of design. This episode is not just about me sharing our identity. I share the story hoping that it will come in handy when you need new logo. In my opinion, logo is not just about looking cool or pretty. Who am I to tell you that? Let me start from sharing my background. When I started at 𝐀𝐻𝐭 𝐓𝐡𝐞, which is the mother company of KoLe SHIKOKU Japan, I was a graphic designer for local small businesses. That is how I met current collaborating artisans, and I learned their challenges they face and their dreams. That led me to start KoLe later on. So it was very natural for me to create all the visuals for KoLe SHIKOKU Japan. I used to create many different kinds of things, from business card, flyers, to shop seasonal installations, and I've even done interior coordinating for one new opening cafe. But among those many things I created, my strong point was mark designing, like logo designing. I have a few principles that I follow when I create logo or marks. I'll share 3 of them today because those 3 are the things I used for KoLe's logo. Number 1, make the mark easily verbalizable, even by 5 years old. This is because I want the logo to be in a part of people's conversation, even the logo itself or the name of whatever the marks for were forgotten. I'd like to demonstrate one thing with you. I'm going to explain very famous brand's logo with minimum words as possible, and I'd like you to picture it, the logo design or name of the brand. Are you ready? Umbrella, realistic illustration of crocodile, more cartoonized crocodile. A lion looking aside on a crown. A bird looks like a penguin, but actually not a penguin. How did you do? I hope some of them you recognize what I was talking about. And why do I think it's important for people to be able to verbalize a mark? is because for the situation like this, there is no logo in front of the people who are having a conversation, and they can't remember, the person who is talking cannot remember the name of the service or product, but they still want to talk about it. What would you do? There is no mark and no name, but they still want to talk about it. But if the mark is verbalizable, the conversation can take on. And the person who wants to talk about your service or products can promote your business or product to other person. I'll give you an example. Like, say, you know the thing on the internet, you could watch a bunch of videos. Oh, you mean Netflix? No, not the Netflix one. You know, the one with, I can't remember the name, but you know the one with the white play button looking thing with the red in the background? Oh, you mean YouTube? Oh yeah, that's right, the YouTube. You see? These people can still keep talking about YouTube without having the logo or name in front of them. Even the other person couldn't come up with the name of it, they would have still keep going with the conversation. You see my point? Number 2, never ever chase trends. That's because the trend lifespan is very short. But if you are looking for a new logo for your business, products or services that you wish to continue more than a decade, then you can imagine if you chase the trend now, it will look out of date or old in a few years. So that's why I don't like to follow, or I don't recommend following new trends. If you can't chase the trend, what would you do? Number 3, try to reflect founding story, atmosphere, or culture of whatever the marks for onto the design. Because the founding story and culture or the atmosphere you are trying to provide to your ideal clients are timeless. So now you know my 3 mark designing principles. Make it easily verbalizable even for 5-year-old kids. Never ever chase trends. 3, try to tell your story on the logo. Are you okay so far? Now, let's talk about design. I'd like to talk about the motif of the logo. Probably the simplest way to having easily verbalizable mark is finding a motif or motifs. Like apple, umbrella, socks, shoes, coffee cup, flowers, elephants, an elephant, something like that. Find something that reflects or represents what you are trying to provide to the world. Let me share our case. When I was thinking about designing KoLe's logo, I wanted to make it look obviously Japanese, so that once anyone saw it, they'll know that it's from Japan or something Japanese. So I came up with temples or shrines as a motif. Then as soon as I come up with those ideas, I just dismissed it because it didn't tell who we are. or who the KoLe should be. KoLe is all about our quest of finding new ways to adapt our local heritage craftsmanship into modern global lifestyle through your perspective. And to do that, we are always open to productive new ideas, and we cherish diversity. If KoLe's culture is cherishing diversity, but having a logo mark with the motif represents some certain religion, wouldn't do, would it? So I had to come up with another motif that will tell obviously Japan, historical or traditional, and cultural. Then I realized that I have the best idea. It's a Japanese castle. As you can see, KoLe SHIKOKU Japan's logo is a Japanese castle, but actually it is not a Japanese castle, it's the Japanese castle. It has a model. The castle is called the Marugame Castle, which is still standing in Marugame City, Kagawa, Shikoku, Japan. That is the city I was born and raised. If shrine and temples represents certain religion, then what would Japanese castles represent as a motif or mark? I think it has been changing over the years, in fact centuries. In the early stage, the castles, Japanese castles, were all about battles. And a later year, when Japan got peace, war-free time, it became a symbol of where the feudal lord lives, and that was the center of local government. Each feudal lord had direct impact on their local economy and industry. Industry includes the crafts, what we call heritage crafts today. Then how about in the 20th and 21st century, the era we live in? Today, Japanese castles, each Japanese castles are the symbol of local history, local culture, and identity. So you could almost say that Japanese castle is the symbol of our local pride. And also, the first presentation I gave in English to native English speakers was about the Marugame Castle. I couldn't think of any other better motif for KoLe SHIKOKU Japan. So, the Marugame Castle. Now, once the motif is decided, what you gotta think about next is the style of the design. As a mark designer, I like designing simple marks. But the KoLe, you realize that a KoLe's mark is not simple, is it? There is a reason. The reason is because the Ritz-Carlton's logo is not a simple logo. I know you are not getting it. I'll explain. When I was getting ready to launch KoLe SHIKOKU Japan, I was thinking of what I want KoLe to be, and the answer I came up with was, I want KoLe to grow to be the Ritz-Carlton of Japanese heritage craft industry. I look up to the Ritz-Carlton's reputation they have been successfully keeping, especially in the reputation of their service they provide. So, try not to forget what I thought about. I decided to reflect that onto our logo mark. So our mark, the castle, is not simple design, but in a contrary, our text, our letters, or typography is kept simple and modern. Because KoLe is not just about keeping tradition. We take modern and a new attempt or approach to preserving our heritage crafts. So that is how I made the KoLe's logo. The mark is inspired by the Marugame Castle and the Ritz-Carlton, and the letters typography is kept simple and modern. By combining these two, it expresses that who or what we should be, who or what KoLe should be, which is by providing personalized services that connecting you with our heritage craftsmanship, we search new ways to adopt the craftsmanship into modern global lifestyle from your perspectives. We do this by staying open to new productive ideas and valuing diversity. That's who we are and who we should be. I hope I managed to reflect that on our logo. What do you think? Please let me know what you think, what you find new, or any questions in the comment. In the next episode, I'll talk about common misconception about KoLe Shikoku Japan. But for now, please enjoy the bonus clip, which is coming right after the ending, because I know I have enough bloopers. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you next time. That's all for this episode. If you have questions for me to answer in this series, please leave them in the comments. For more details about my challenge, please check out episode 0. Your support gets me going, so if you like this episode or want to let me know you've just listened to it, please like it or leave a comment wherever you are listening. And please follow me here. Thank you for watching and for your support. See you next time! I'd like to share what just happened. I finished filming and recording this episode and realized that microphone was turned off. So here I come again. Represents some certain religion wouldn't do, would it?もう音立てるんだったら今音立ててしまって。でも音立てなくなったら言って。So I realistic is in the next episode I'll talk about common misconception. The second, number 2. that is not because I cannot. When you probably my first presentation I gave. Welcome to episode 0. What? I used to create many different logo or marks for business or products lifespan. What? So that is the story. What? We search for new ways. What? Common misconception in the next. Number 1. Question I'll be answering in another episode. An apple bitten aside. An apple side bitten. An apple